Give me more than enough. Give me more than enough. We are not conquered. All the way in Switzerland, and you're tuning into the Black Fire Radio, and you're listening to the African Radio with Cathy. That's it. Nobody too bad, you know. I don't get you know. I'm not love. Give me more, you know. Give me more, my baby, it's a holiday, my baby, oh, no one today, no one to be, no one today, who can make I run, you can't. Oh, today, I get I know that. But does it matter? I can say, DJ, oh, today, I know that. I don't think I can DJ, no, nobody too bad, you know. I don't get enough. I'm not gonna give me more, give me more than enough. We are not that's all I do. Take over. Give me oh, shake me on, baby, shake me on. See you shake me on, oh, my baby, shake me on. Oh, what's it getting? I don't know. But what's it getting? DJ, oh, what's it getting? I don't know. But what's it getting? DJ, baby, you know, I can't get enough. I'm not gonna go. Give me more, give me more.
Yes, hello, good people. Karibuni sana to another episode of the African Diary Show. I'm hoping your Thursday afternoon is going on very well. I see Shali Pedi in the building, Karibu Sana. I also see Jacob Ndongo in the building, Karibu Sana. And to all those who are just joining me, Karibuni Sana to another episode of the African Diary Show. And in case this is your first time here, please consider following the host. And I see Silas Kiz Rao. Okay, yes, Karibu Sana. And to all those who are just joining us, shout out to all those who are with me on the radio station, those who are just joining me from Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. I see Tom and Jerry. Thank you very much for the follow. And yes, thank you very much. So, on today's episode, we shall be discussing different matters, of course, coming from the African continent, because the African Diary Show is all about what is happening in the beautiful continent of Africa and the day-to-day life activities of the African people. So, on today's episode, we shall be discussing about one of the things is this is something that it's not new to us. This is something that we've discussed so many times right here on the African Diary Show. And this is about the asylum seekers from the Europe. And right now, or in the year 2024, that we are in the fourth day of 2024, Europe is hunting for new partners to offload the asylum seekers. And this is just crazy because we saw they even forced a deal to Rwanda, and after the UK court declared it illegal, right now they are still looking for new partners to offload the asylum seekers right here. And most especially, you will find that now these asylum seekers will get to be dumped in Africa. But yes, that is our main focus of the day. Later on, we shall be getting to discuss about Somalia. Yesterday, I talked about, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I talked about the deal that was signed between Somali and Ethiopia. Right now, the Somalis are protesting against the deal, and they are not happy about the deal. So we shall be getting to see why are the Somalis protesting about the deal, and why aren't they happy about the deal. But you know what is all with this? You know, we know very well what is always happening with Africans. We are always jealous creatures. We don't even want to share. And this is what is happening in this case. But we shall get much in deeper, or we shall get much into details about the whole situation in Somalia and Ethiopia. And going on to other different matters, this is about Rwanda recalling Kenya over a Kenyan drug over safety concerns. And today in the morning, I was talking about some drug right here in Kenya that is being used instead of heroin. There's some drug that it's sold in the agrovets. This drug is used to sedate cows and horses. But right now we have heroin addicts going to get the whole drug, or going to get the drug from the agrovet and use it as now a drug on their body. And this is crazy, but we shall be getting to talk about now this. And now what is happening in Rwanda, or the reason that Rwanda is calling Kenyan drug over safety concern, it's because there's this drug that has raised so many concerns. And you know, this is not even the first time. You remember there was a time China was also recalled for a drug concern or over safety, and you remember at that time it was actually a contraceptive that was even causing infertility on the Kenyan women. And I bet you that this drug is still being sold in this chemist. So we shall be getting to see that and more of the matters coming from different countries in Africa. I see user 2478 and the number continues. It's saying, what happened to the LabSet project? It was supposed to give Ethiopia some port access via Kenya. Yes, I remember that, but I don't know what really happened. But after that, now we had Ethiopia getting into a deal. This was actually early this week, getting into a deal with Somaliland, and they had access to a port, and later on, we are seeing that the Somalis are not happy about the whole deal. So we shall be getting to talk about that. And in case you have something to say, you can feel free to send in your comments, your sentiments. And in case you are on TikTok, you can also join me via request, and we can talk about the whole situation. I see Freddie Ulam say is with us in the building, and I say hello to you too. I see Becky Ray is with us. Karibu sana Becky Ray, and to all those who are just joining us. We started off our show with an amazing jam that was of Adekunle Gold, and the jam was more than enough. I hope you did get to jam and to eat, as we are going back to one more jam and be back with our quote of the day. In case you have a quote of the day that you'd love to share with us right here, kindly feel free or feel generous enough and kind enough to share your quote of the day. This is Major. The jam is well decided. I hope you get to jam and to eat, but don't forget to come back with your quote of the day. And before we get to continue, I forgot to tell you that I'll also be sharing a video of a white globalist, white globalist agent calling Africa useless. And it's saying that Africa doesn't produce anything. But anyway, with the video or with the help of the video, you shall get to understand what this man is saying. And this is just crazy that white people just decide that they wake up one day and call violence for Africa that we know they can't even survive without, that we know they can't even go a day without. But anyway, let's go back to the music. Remember to come back with your quote of the day and also keep it interactive with me right here. Shout out to Hab. Asante sana for joining me, and welcome to the African Diary Show.
When you're being a good design, it's not your time. Deal with that. When you're being a good design, it's not your time. Deal with that. Where design.
And we're still on the New Year vibes, and my quote of the day says, a new year is not just about starting something new. It is also about putting the past behind, along with the tears, triumphs, and the regrets. It is about clearing up mental space for new adventures and knowledge. So be an empty cup and fill it with gold. That is my quote of the day. I hope you feel motivated by that quote, and I hope you are willing to become an empty cup that you will be able to fill with the gold by the end of this year. Happy New Year once again to all those who are still celebrating the new year. And I say, happy saying, looking great. Thank you very much. And asante sana for joining us on today's episode.
It's not your time. Deal with that. When you're being a good design, it's not your time. Unanipret, utaniache, siniache, unatupret, ukataka kazi, si uache, nadhani sinajali, udunga ni kudanizila wewe, songa, sinasonga, udunga ni kudanizila wewe, tutaongoka, tunaongoka, wewe ni damu, didididamu, you're so dumb, dunia si yako pekee, you're so dumb, utashuka kona kote ni kufuate, ukipotet kila mtu njia yake, when you're being a good size, it's not your time, deal with that, when you're being a good size, it's not your time, deal with that, where design, out to change, it's not your time, deal with that, when you're being a good size, it's not your time. All the way to life, and you should get to
Yes, welcome back. That is Major. The jam is where decide. I hope you did get to jam onto it as we're getting started with our conversation of the day. And before I continue, by the way, the Sudan's RSF chief is in Kenya. Yes, the Sudan's Rapid Support Force is chief. Sorry, the Sudan's Rapid Support chief is in Sudan. Sorry, is in Kenya, and you know. You keep on asking why is Kenya being attacked all the time? So tell me why this man is, or tell me what he is doing right here in Kenya. We actually saw a very beautiful photo of him with our very own president in the State House. Yes, enjoying life in the State House. Tell me, what is this person doing in Kenya? We know very well this person is the cause of the war that is ongoing in Sudan, right? The rapid support forces are the root cause of the war that is still continuing in Sudan. But this man is right here in Kenya. Is Kenya acting like an enemy to Sudan right now? It was the other day I was discussing how we had a Kenya ambassador, a Congo Kenya ambassador forming an alliance with the M23 rebel groups and other jihadists right here in Kenya. The Kenyan government was called to arrest this man, but they said we cannot do that. What is the Kenyan government doing? But anyway, remember that the Kenyan government is one of the pilot government, or Kenya is one of the pilot countries. And with the pilot countries, I bet you understand the meaning. This country or the government is a sellout. The Kenyan government has decided we are not only selling Kenya, we are even selling the other African countries, because this is really what is happening. Tell me why. If you really understand what is happening in Sudan, why do we have the Sudan's RSF chief stepping on the Kenyan ground, even going to take tea with the President Ruto in the State House? It doesn't make sense for me, but it makes sense as well, because we understand now how the country is going. We understand how the Kenyan government is going, or how it is doing its things. But anyway, the leader of Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces held talks in Kenya on Wednesday amid regional diplomatic efforts to try to forge a ceasefire in the war at home. Kenya is the latest leg of Mohammed Hamdan Daghlo's first trip abroad since the fierce fighting erupted between the RSF and the Sudanese army in mid-April. We've seen the deaths the rapid support forces has caused, and it is still continuing attacking areas or regions and villages in Sudan. Right now, as we are talking, Khartoum is still in war and crisis. People are still fleeing from the country because there is no peace. But Ruto has the audacity to host a terrorist in the country. But anyway, President William Ruto posted pictures on Twitter of him meeting with Daghlo, saying Kenya appreciated commitment of RSF and Daghlo. That is what he said. And the ongoing Intergovernmental Authority on Development talks should bring about a political settlement that would effect a lasting peace in the country, he added. IGAD, an 8-nation East Africa bloc headquartered in Djibouti, is leading diplomatic efforts to broker a meeting between Daghlo and his rival, Sudanese Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. The warring generals have not met face-to-face since the outbreak of the conflict that has killed more than 12,000 people by some conservative estimates and forced millions to flee. But Ruto, it makes sense if you really understand what I'm talking about, it makes sense because if Ruto is willing to bring back peace to this country, or he's forging a ceasefire, just like he's saying, or just like it's stated right here, I think he would be calling the Sudan's general first, not the RSF chief. But he decided to have talks with the RSF chief first instead of the Sudan's army general. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. And you wonder why Kenyans were getting attacked from everywhere? This is the reason. Our president is fighting with with our own people, the people we should be protecting, the people we should be uniting with and working together. He is acting like a sellout to them. This is just crazy. We all know that African puppets are sellouts, but why now be like this? You sell out Sudan, you sell out Congo. Which other country are you selling out? You may be selling out even Uganda and other neighboring countries that we even don't know. This is just crazy, and it's so bad coming from Africa, because I thought this was happening in the European countries, but it is so bad coming from Africa. Instead of uniting, instead of working for unification, we are working towards disuniting Africans. We are working towards showing them how we are not the same, how we can even sell them out. It is so sad. But the warring generals have not met face to face since the outbreak of the conflict that killed more than 12,000 people by some conservative estimates and forced millions to flee. Danglo said his discussions with the Ruto focused on latest developments in Sudan's and examining the root cause of the war, exploring solutions to alleviate the crisis and suffering of our people. So tell me, if you're working towards the end of this war that is ongoing in Sudan, if you are working for the end or towards the end of this war, shouldn't you be having both parties and telling them what is your problem and getting to understand what is the root cause of this war? But why do you just choose to have one party and hold talks with the one party and then come to tell us that we are working towards the end of this war? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. But anyway, I presented our strategy to cease hostilities and start negotiations for a comprehensive resolutions, he said on X without elaborating. A scheduled press conference by Daglo in Nairobi did not take place. The RSF leader has previously visited Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Uganda, and his regional tour, and said he was committed to ending the conflict. Next week, as chair of IGAD, Djibouti will also prepare ground for Sudanese dialogue and will host a critical meeting. Djibouti Foreign Minister Muhammad Ali Yusuf said on X on Saturday when Daglo visited. Last Wednesday, Djibouti's foreign ministry said in a meeting between arrivals planned for December 28th and being postponed to early January for technical reasons. The UN Security Council in November voiced alarm at the growing violence in Sudan and spread of fighting to areas previously considered a haven for those displaced by the conflict. By the end of November, at least 12,190 people had been killed, according to a conservative estimate from the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project. This is really sad, and the United Nations says more than 7 million people have been internally displaced by the war, while another 1.5 million have fled into neighboring countries. Both sides have been accused of war crimes. It is just crazy. And then we see our president, our very own president, hosting this. This is a terrorist. He's the reason we have these people dying. You remember the attacks on the Sudanese people? that are still happening up to date. But you guys, you African puppets, have even the audacity to host this man in your country and say that you're having peace talks with him. What negotiations over a ceasefire with him? Without the other party? It doesn't make sense, and you don't make sense at all. And I feel so sad that now we have African countries supporting terrorists because this is what they are doing. African countries supporting terrorism in other African countries. This is what is happening. It is just like the way we see the Rwandan government is also being accused, or has always been accused, of causing instability in Congo, of which is very true. No lie. It has played a very big part in that. Other than that, we also saw the Kenyan government playing a huge role in causing instability in that country. Because tell me why did they have their forces or their troops in Congo for the longest time, and then they decided to recall them back home or remove them after like 2 decades? Yet we never saw any improvement when we had Kenyan troops on that side. It doesn't make sense. And I don't know, the only thing we can do to even like defend ourselves as Kenyans, because we're going to be attacked. We will be attacked. The fact that we are hosting terrorists in our countries, we are going to see so many attacks. You remember there was a time Sudan attacked us. And this was on the internet. It attacked us on the internet. It hacked our internet and everything, and our data was leaked. It's going to do that again, or whatever it's going to do. But yeah, something like that is coming, because our president keeps looking for wars everywhere he can. And this is so sad. Instead of working on unifying Africans, he's working on disunity on African people, or on Africa, or in Africa. It is so sad, but you guys can let me know what you think about it as we get to continue with our show for today, and also as I get to share my video so that we get to continue with other different conversations. This video is about a white globalist agent who is calling Africa useless. Yes, he's calling Africa useless. I want us to watch the video, and then we continue with other different conversations. Remember, your thoughts, your comments, always welcome, and also what you feel about the whole show. It's always welcome. Okay, I'm trying to share my screen so that we can be together. Let me just switch for my video. But remember, this video is talking about our idealist and globalist agent who is calling Africa useless. And the reason he's calling Africa useless is it says that we don't produce behaving. And okay, there is my video. Let me see. To those who are with me on TikTok, in case you want to watch the video with the rest of us, you can come on YouTube. I'm live on Kid Newsam and also Black Hot Fire Network. So you can come and watch the video with us as we get to continue with our show today.
This video going viral by a global strategist called Peter Zeha.
Manufacturing.
This is the video.
What contribution do you see from the African continent in terms of global manufacturing horsepower?
Manufacturing.
I was asked, what contribution do you see from Africa in the manufacturing industry? And he said none. We know very well they get the raw materials from us. But he just said none. Anyway, let's get to continue with the video so that we get to discuss it.
And while they do have very high birth rates and a more stable population structure, a lot of that is only possible because raw commodities and then import the things allow them to have a degree of modernity. Breaking a lot goes away. And so I think they're ready to participate at scale. And even if they did, in a less robust security environment, the connections necessary to make that are going to be that the North American manufacturing system will start incorporating pieces of South America. We already have free trade deals with Colombia and Chile, for example. But yeah, I'm afraid that Africa really can't be part of that. Now, we might see pieces of Africa following the Indian model. I can see Nigeria becoming broadly self-sufficient. I can see a partial reboot of South Africa, but that's for their own domestic markets rather than any sort of international connection.
So let's react to what this global strategist thinks of Africa. Yes, is none, right? He has a point where he says that Africa mostly focuses on exporting raw material. Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement is going to fix in the coming decades, right? He also says that the infrastructure, manufacturing and stuff, that's useless. With all the development that Africa is doing in the road, China has been investing in, all that is preparing Africa to be a manufacturing hub, right? So the problem with the white men like this is that they still think they're on top, right? They still think the West, the United States, is on top of the food chain. And for a global strategist, I'm wondering why he can't figure out that these days it's China. China will no longer be a viable partner because China will be more developed than the United States. China will be more developed than the West. So why would they build a manufacturing base? And China has chosen Africa, right? It's ignored South America. China has chosen Africa as its manufacturing hub. India is also choosing Africa to be its manufacturing hub. Countries like Iran, countries like Turkey are really investing in Africa when it comes to the manufacturing round. And also, this point for that Africa is only raw materials. Countries like Ghana, countries like Burkina Faso are waking up and they're saying, "Oh no, that not going to be exported beans. Chocolates are going to be exported as the finished product, right? Meaning chocolates, like if you want in cocoa, it will have to be finished and it will be a higher price than right now. These countries like Belgium, Switzerland are getting at a throwaway price for those beans, right? Another thing also gold. Countries like DR Congo, Rwanda, Uganda are fight at low price manufacturing gold, and the price of gold is fixed no matter where you go in this world, right? So things are changing. Another is that
Okay, I won't continue with that video any longer. But anyway, what this man is trying to explain to this white or this racist person, this racist global analyst is right now, you cannot say that Africa does not contribute to the manufacturing industry in the globe because one, we contribute by the fact that we produce the raw materials that you use in your manufacturing industries. And for a fact, it's Africa has been seen like a place where the whites only come for the raw materials, and then we get the end product from them, like we import the end product from them. But the narrative right now is changing. Africa is working towards manufacturing its own product. So if you are asked what is the contribution of Africa in the manufacturing manufacturing industry globally, I think Africa is one of the biggest contributors because they wouldn't have these manufacturing industries without having Africa. So we cannot say that there is none. Of course, there is, and a very huge contribution from Africa. But this is just a racist person who only wants to praise the white countries and who only wants to think or wants to make people think that Africa is useless. He actually said that Africa is useless in the manufacturing industry globally, but Africa is not useless. We know very well without Africa, these people are not doing anything. These people don't have things like cocoa, chocolate. They don't have, almost everything. So it is because of Africa and the contribution that Africa brings to the table. This is why you as the European countries have all those things. But I think Williams is with us, is saying love and peace and love, peace and happiness, Katie. Love, peace and happiness to you too, Kay Williams. You're saying hope all is well today. Yes, all is well. The time is 6:54 a.m. at work listening. Okay, thank you very much. The time here is 2:54. Asante sana for joining. I see Hab is with us. I see no big. 3 is with us as well. Karibu sana, and thank you very much for tapping the screen. And kindly, you can get to interact with me and tell me what do you feel about Africa's contribution in the manufacturing industry globally. Do you think that Africa is doing great, but they are taking advantage of us because we produce the raw materials? They get the raw materials from Africa. They make the end product, and then they come and sell it to us. Just tell me what you think about that. But anyway, moving away from that, let's get to another different conversation. And this is about something that I mentioned, Rwanda recalling Kenyan drug over safety concerns. And by the fact that I already talked about something similar to this early in the morning on the Vibe Show, where we have Kenyans, heroin addicts. We have Kenyan heroin addicts using some drug that is used to sedate cows and horses. And they are getting this in agrovets. It's just crazy. But anyway, health authorities in Rwanda have called batches of antifungal tablets from Kenya over safety concerns. And in a statement, the Rwandan Food and Drugs Authority instructed importers to return all batches of fluconazole 200 mg tablets, which are manufactured by a Kenyan company. It is also ordered all retailers and health facilities to stop the distribution of drugs and return them to the suppliers. This followed an earlier notification from the authority, which had alerted the Kenyan manufacturer of discoloration in the tablets. According to RFDA, 4 bulk batches of pink fluconazole 200 milligram tablets imported into the country had a white discoloration after a short shelf life. So this is just crazy, and this shows that there's something that is not being done. And yesterday I also saw there was some sugar that was found that is not quality sugar right here in Kenya. Excuse me. My voice wants to go. But anyway, I was talking about some sugar that was discovered right here in Kenya that doesn't reach the quality to get to the market. But who is doing this work? Of course, it is the Kenya Bureau of Standards. We know very well before something is passed on and gets to the market, it should get to the Kenya Bureau of Standards and see if this good has reached the standards of going to the market or of consumption. But right now, everything is corrupted right here in Kenya, or everything is corrupted right here in Africa. And excuse me. And I don't know what is happening to me, but anyway, what I'm saying is this is just crazy. Excuse me a minute. Okay, thank you. This is just crazy, seeing that the Kenyan government is are always allowing this to happen, and without even checking on the quality of goods. Has it reached the standards to which that it can get consumed by the people? It's always that there's even rice, there's also foods that are not to the standard of consumption, but they are always getting to the market. And who is to blame? It is the Kenya Bureau of Standards. Right now, we are losing a very big deal or a very huge deal just because they didn't work on checking what really happened, or what on checking on what was used by to make these drugs. Thank you very much for the gift, Asante Sana. Gary Williams is saying that is crazy. Yes, it is crazy. Imagine you're going to get medicine, and then this medicine is supposed to be pink, but you find this medicine is actually turning to white. It is just crazy because it shows that this medicine is not good for the consumption. And this is what also happened some time back. Remember about the cough syrup that left so many children dead, and nobody was compensated. They were given little amount of money, of which they said no, because you cannot even compensate a life with money. You cannot. Now imagine if we had people taking these drugs and then they start losing their lives. Who would be blamed? It is the Kenya Bureau of Standards, or the company that makes these drugs. But it is just crazy. It is the Kenya Bureau of Standards is the one to blame. And also remember, by the fact that everything is corrupt right here in Africa, we find that Kenya Bureau of Standards, it's actually even selling stickers. It is selling the stickers, the cab stickers to people. So you can even manufacture your own alcohol at home and take it to the market just because you had a sticker to put it on. And also people are making these stickers for themselves. So we should be able, and we should be taught as Africans on how to know that these goods are counterfeit. Even without even the general knowledge, just teach people on how to know if this good is counterfeit or is it good for consumption, because people are just losing lives for no good reason. They are losing lives for no good reason. And also I see Mustafa is with us. Asante sana for joining us. Diaspora, I see you in the building. Diaspora CEO, I see you in the building. Karibu sana. And Asante sana for joining me. So I was talking about the Rwandan country, or Rwanda recalling Kenyan drug over safety concerns, and it is just crazy with what is happening in Africa, because you would find, it was the other day I was talking about Nigeria calling on the bureau to start checking on the goods, because there's a lot of counterfeit products, and this was during the festive season. Imagine now how many people ate counterfeit products, and these counterfeit products are the ones that are bringing cancer to our body. They are bringing the cancerous cells to our body, and this is how people are getting so many types of diseases, and you wonder, where did I get this from? It is because you ate some counterfeit sugar, because you ate some counterfeit drugs, because you ate some counterfeit rats. And this is so sad. It is so sad, knowing very well there is a bureau that is supposed to check if these goods have reached the standards to where they should be taken to the market and are good for consumption. But the agency that said that incriminated tablet batches had entered into the Rwandan market, health officials in Rwanda said they will investigate to ascertain the adverse effect of the drugs has had on Rwandans. Kenyan authorities are yet to say where the drug used to treat fungal or yeast infections will also be recalled from the local market. It is just crazy, because I know very well that this drug is still being used somewhere right here in Kenya. And just because it has been noticed in Rwanda, it doesn't mean that it had not even gotten to the markets right here in Kenya. I know people are still taking the drug, and it will bring some side effects. And this is so bad. It is so bad. So bad. And this corruption, man, it is just because of corruption. This is what is leading us to where we are right now. I see Kerry Williams is saying you are hyped up. Take it easy on that coffee. Man, I know I've been taking coffee for the last 3 days, and this is the reason. I'm sorry about that. I'll just take a break on the coffee again. I don't know why. And I'm not a fan of coffee, but the last 3 days I've taken coffee. But anyway, moving to the main conversation of the day, this is about Europe. And I talked about Europe is hunting for new partners to offload asylum seekers in the year 2024. And actually, this is the year we are in. So we remember the last time we talked about the asylum seekers that were supposed to be sent in Rwanda. We had the UK court saying that this is illegal and that Rwanda does not meet the standards of which asylum seekers can be sent to the country. And after that, we saw also the UK government saying that be it whatever you say, we must send these people away from the country, and we must find a way to send these people to Rwanda. And we also saw receipts coming out that the Rwandan president had received a huge sum of money to accommodate these asylum seekers. And right now, I believe this is why they are forcing the asylum seekers on Rwanda, because the Rwandan president had accepted the sum of money, and which was not little money. It was a very huge sum of money. And if he was asked to pay that back, I know he wouldn't. So he will just have to accommodate the asylum seekers. And right now, the UK or the Europe government or the European countries are still looking for other places or other countries to partner to offload these asylum seekers. And I keep on asking myself, why is it that when they don't want their people in their country, they dump them to Africa or in Africa? But when we don't want our own people, we keep on killing them. It's just crazy. It is crazy. In Europe, it's where these people are racist. You're not wanted. They even deny us visas to get there. But they want us to accommodate them and love their people and actually give them citizenship. And remember, I read all the entitlement these asylum seekers have when they get to Africa. One, they are entitled to education. They are entitled to a citizenship card. Yes. And they are entitled to being treated as a citizen in any African countries which they land. So why is it that if we want to go to Europe as African people, we are not accepted, but they are forcing us to accept their people, because majority of these asylum seekers are not African people. And this is just crazy, because right now it is from Ghana to Georgia, Rwanda to Albania, and it is becoming crazy. But 8 years after the image of 3-year-old Alan Kude lying face down on a beach in Turkey shocked the world, pictures of asylum seekers' lifeless bodies washed up on the coast of Italy's Calabria region in February once again stirred global outrage. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen responded to the tragic shipwreck just meters away from the coast of Staccato di Castro by promising the redouble of our efforts. Member states must step forward and find a solution now, she said. Yet as 2024 begins, activists and experts are told Al Jazeera that 2023 has seen Europe reach for ever more drastic solutions to curb NGO search and rescue operations and outsource its border management to other nations. The International Organization for Migration estimated at least 2,571 people died this year trying to cross the Mediterranean, one of the deadliest years ever. Since 2014, the United Nations Agency has counted at least 28,320 men and women and children who lost their lives trying to reach Europe. What is new is the popularity of the idea that you can externalize asylum process, said Camille Lecoza, Associate Director for Europe at the Migration Policy Institute. That's something we are likely going to see more of moving forward, despite shaky legal grounds. Externalizing asylum is at least 264,371 asylum seekers entered Europe by boat and land in 2023. According to the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, a 66% increase compared with the previous year and the highest figure since 2016. 6 of every 10 among them landed on Italian shores. It is just crazy. And Flavio Di Galciamo, a spokesperson of the IOM, said these numbers were a far cry from the recorded in 2015 when more than 1 million people reached European shore via sea. There is no real emergency. And Diciamo told Al Jazeera they are very manageable figures and more should be done to give people who arrive by sea access to a system of protection. And I believe this is what should be done. Instead, you saw there was a time these people were paying the Tunisians money to keep Africans from getting to the European side. And after that, they built even a floating prison. And after that, they are still trying to force so many other people in Africa. And, they say, no matter what you say, we are still going to send these asylum seekers to Rwanda. And this is not only going to happen to Rwanda, it is also going to happen to other African countries. Yet, headliners have sounded the alarm about migration. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was accused in December of adopting toxic rhetoric after warning the migration would overwhelm European countries without firm actions. And I actually read this, and it was in December. Yes, I remember reporting this. And his comments came during a 4-day political event in Rome, organized by a far-right Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, weeks after his flagship bill designed to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda to process their claims was ruled unlawful by the Supreme Court in the United Kingdom. Meloni, who also governs a staunchly nationalist agenda that focuses on immigration, has warned that Italy would not become Europe's refugee camp. But they want now Africa to become refugees camp. It's just crazy. Europe's refugee camp. He said that Italy will not become Europe's refugee camp, but now he wants to force Rwanda to become Africa's or Europe's refugee camp. This is just crazy. It is just crazy. But you know what is crazy is that now we have African puppets accepting the burden and taking money for this, and they are going to accept these people no matter the race. Similarly to her British ally, Meloni had signed a deal to end asylum seekers arriving in Italy to another country. Albania had agreed to process their claims in 2 facilities run by Italian officials under Italian jurisdiction. The 5-year deal announced in November was blocked by the Balkan countries' constitution court for violating the constitution and international convention. And Lekoza said that Georgia, Ghana, Moldova were also in talks with the European Union member states to sign deals to conduct part of all their asylum procedures on their territory. Whether these agreements will be greenlit by court next year is unclear. This is just crazy. We are also seeing Ghana is willing to take the burden, while we know that people under the rule of Nana Akufo-Addo are still suffering, and the Ghanaian country itself, it's in debt, it is in crisis. And these people are not doing any good, but they are willing to take asylum seekers no matter the risk. This is just crazy. While we know very well that people who always migrate from this country are the West Africans. West Africans are the ones who migrate from Africa mostly to the European countries where they are not loved. And they are the ones who get killed when they are passing through Tunisia. But the puppet president is willing to get a huge sum of money to get these asylum seekers to his country. It is just crazy. But deals that externalized asylum processing raises questions in terms of human rights standards, but also on political and financial cost. Like Lekoz said, in the end, none of these deals are moving forward because their legal grounds are pretty shaky, and so far they have provided no solutions while incurring many costs. Amid renewed interest in external processing, the EU has been working on a new path on migration and asylum to make return and border procedures on European soil quicker and more effective. This is just crazy because Africa, we are always willing to take the burden, no matter the risk, no matter even the racial discrimination. Now we have a country like Rwanda trying to create a new South Africa. We have a country like Ghana trying to create a new South Africa, because this is what they are trying to do. Remember, South Africa, we have the population. It's the white people, but the majority is the black people. But at the end of the people end up black people, and there's also discrimination in that country. Now, this is what we're trying to create in a country like Rwanda by accepting these asylum seekers. This is what Ghanaians are going to have by accepting these asylum seekers. And this is just crazy. I think K. Williams is saying very true. West Africa never learned. They never learned. These people are the ones who are always dying, trying to cross to the Mediterranean Sea. They are the ones who are getting killed. They are the ones sinking on these boats. And we are not sure that these boats sink naturally. They are the ones who die all the time. When the boat capsizes, it is always the West Africans, but they are not even learning from this. They are so willing to take these people in and welcome them to their territory. It is just crazy, and I feel so sad about this because I know very well how hatred it is, or how racist it is in the Europe. But when it comes to Africa, you are willing to welcome these racist people to your countries. And you just need money. If they pay you, you are willing to do anything they tell you. And this is just crazy. Africans, we need to learn. We need to learn. We need to learn and stop this madness of being bought by silly cash, stupid money. We need to stop That's nonsense. But I see Kay Williams is saying, I have to go, Katie. Have a good day. Have a good day to you too, Kay Williams. Asante sana for stopping by and being with me on today's episode. I see Viveki in the building. Garidi, I see you in the building. Mustapale, I see you in the building. Thank you very much. And to all those who are with us on today's episode. But by concluding on that matter, I think this is just stupid that we have to accept these people by force, by fire in our country. Because just because we are being governed by puppet presidents who are always ready to take cash and take in these people because the white bosses have said, and because these people are white people. But anyway, family, asanteni sana for being with us on today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed the conversation. To all those who joined us, asanteni sana. To the silent listeners with me on the radio station, asanteni sana as well. I hope you have enjoyed the conversation, and I hope you have enjoyed our show for today. General Squito, you're joining when I'm leaving. Richie Spice as well, you are joining when I'm leaving. Shanice Janie, I see you as well. Asanteni sana for joining. Better late than never, but you have to go back and check on the replay of this because time is out. I need to get out of here, and we have to see each other on the streets of Rongai. Go ahead, really enjoy the rest part of the day, and also make sure you stay safe and be careful of whatever you are doing. This is my job. The jam is where decide.
When you're a good side,
Hey to you too, Ikan Fire.
when you're a good side,
Why you a silent listener or you just joined?
try your time. And you build a resilition, use flash to creativity. Tutakusahau kama kamisi na memory tutoe akili. Unabehave ni kama kuna option. Pia sisi ni caution. Kasi homa sime kuwa na wewe. Usipotenti kumilitembeti. A last chance, at the last chance. A last chance to the chance.
Janice is telling me to repeat the whole show. Man, I cannot do that. You can just come on the YouTube channel and watch a replay of this. And also we have Rumble. Also, you can go on the Spotify and check out on Black Hot Fire Network. The episode was about Europe hunting for new partners to upload asylum seekers. So if you search for that topic, you'll get to see it and maybe listen to it as a podcaster from Spotify. But anyway, I cannot repeat the whole show. But asante sana for joining me, Shanice, and thank you very much.
Yeah. When you're being a good size, it's not your time. Deal with that. When you're being a good size, count again. It's not your time. Deal with that. When you're being
Okay, Ikan, I understand. Asante sana.
it's not your time. Unanipet, ukaniacha, siniache, unatupet, ukataka kasi, si uache, unadhani sina jali, ujinga ni kudhani kila